Your son still uses it to farm with and everything, don't he?
He can, yeah. But outside of that chair there, I wouldn't know where to go to find another.
Yeah.
You're looking at a masterpiece. This is it. This masterpiece sets on legs, and it has a top which is about 6 pounds heavy, and deep inside space, and it's oak. Unfastened here is a button that's like a stopper, wooden or a whatever you call that cork, and the milk ran out that hole. Then you dashed and dashed water and dashed water until it ran clear and clean, and the churn was ready for the next milk. You know, putting in your clabber milk. This is an iron that was used especially by slaves to iron the ruffles around the master's white shirt that he wore. This was something that was an ordinary thing to wear every day.
Turn it slowly. Now then. All the way around. Come right on around. It's narrow, isn't it?
It's pointed. That's very pointed in order to go up into those ruffles.
Okay.
And here is the amazing part. Not amazing really, but the unique part. That's the part that went in the fire. This weighted, and when you would drag it out, again you would snap into place.
Oh, in other words, that handle could be used with 2 or 3 of these irons, couldn't it?
Yes, if you had some more.
And while one is getting back hot again, you could be ironing with another one.
That iron is in excellent shape. This is a rare piece, very heavy. That's a maul. This was used with a handle in here and did the driving, a piece of wood, a wedge, into a log once you start it, and then you'd put the wedge and then you would pound it with this thing like that, you know, with this handle back here, and burst that log. Those might have been done that way, this log house. This belongs to my stepfather, Harrison Speaks, the one that I told you about, the tiny shoe belonging to him. Well, this was his lass. I don't know whether you spell it L-A-S-T, but it is a shoe lass.
What the cobblers used to make the shoes, or help form the shoes, wasn't it? And
yeah.
Work on like
but I want to know how to spell that word.
I wouldn't either.
All right. Anyway, it had different sizes. If you're working for a child's shoe, that one. And
that went right up on top of that little
right
pedestal.
up there, where that one fit. That's a grown person's shoe.
Okay.
And it was nailed down on a log that could be held very strongly. And he sat on a bench, which was known as the cobbler's bench. And that bench was his working place. And beside him was a box of tools and nails. And that Harrison thought very much of. That was his name, Harrison Speaks. This pot has been used in my family for generations. I'm not too sure that it doesn't go to my great-grandmother, not my grandmother, my great-grandmother, because my grandmother had it, excuse me, then my mother, and then my aunt, and then I got it. Now here is the three-legged. It's like a Dutch oven. And now it takes very little time to cook a meal, but because of these legs, you in that space, say, if you wanted to cook right there, and you
cook
now,
right out there on the hearth.
You cook it on the hearth, yes you did. Or closer in, the more or faster you wanted to cook, you push him in. And the coals are now on the top of this fella, so you're getting a browning from the top and cooking underneath, so you had formed what is known as the same stove.
Okay.
Well, the main part here, or interesting thing to me was, The bread was so good, and the cake. They made pound cakes in that fella. But you had to time it just right, and because of you doing it every day, see, there was no stove, no electricity, so you simply cooked with the heat that was made from hickory wood. It gave the food a different taste. Did you ever hear of the threshers who came to thresh?
Yeah.
Well, they used to cook 2 and 3 pots of food in these things, and it was so strange that they cooked those beans early that morning and put the potatoes on about 11 o'clock on top of the beans, and the meat was already down in there done, and stirred those things up, and that was the best food. Oh! The games were the kind that gathered the people around the piles of corn shucking. That was a great event. And help went from one section to the other. Now, this happened a great deal after '65, you know, when the struggle was so great for those who had been set free. And the corn shucking was a time of great feasting, and they had the brown jugs hidden in the corn, and of course the children played over here, and they shucked corn. They were supposed to be shucking until the wee hours.
We used to walk 4 or 5 miles, I guess, to Old Damascus. That's the one I attended, and of course I live way up beyond New Damascus now, and the roads were dusty. We would have a pretty little white dresses going down the road, you know, and here comes a car. And of course it was a light shade of brown when we got there, but we left home special.
When I was a very young boy, my father's a Methodist minister, and we had about 5 miles, I say, to go to church. Went to Bethel Church. It was very almost to the county, was above the Caldwell County, like it was in Caldwell County, Bethel Methodist Church. So I went there as a child until my father died. When my father died, then my mother brought us back and we joined the Thankful Baptist Church.
The ministers of the churches in Wilkes County have had a profound impact on leadership of their communities, of the church. They have also been community activists, wanting to engage that. And I think out of the churches probably has grown the desire to improve the lives of Wilkes County, especially African Americans. He's not from this area, but my minister, Reverend Richard Watts, a very young person, had the vision for men in Christ. And he has galvanized that organization where there are African American men who at one point just assumed that life is what it is. But that has now become an organization where they're striving to provide support and enhancement for African American families. And families who are in need, poor families also. Then I look back at the legacy that Reverend William Rowe left. I am in awe of the fact that he was a man who commanded and received the respect of not only African Americans, but whites as well. And I always admired the fact that he could speak and talk in a way in which it drew people to him. So I just find that those are the kinds of African Americans who have made an impact on what Wilkes County is today.